Are you gonna give me orders?
Now we're heading into TY versus Zest. I mean, everything has really lived up to the hype, maybe in different ways than we expected. But now we get a great Terran versus a fantastic Protoss. And I'm so excited to be casting this with you, Roddy. We get to bring both of our specialties to this.
I'm so excited to see Dark Shrines, Jess. Like, Zest is just... Zest has a new style in PvT, and that's Open Twilight Dark Shrine. And then he just takes it from there. We'll see. Sometimes you see DTs YOLO, sometimes you see them a bit later. It's actually kind of crazy. Oh, I'm on the wrong server. I think you guys are waiting for me. I apologize. You know what's also really fun is that historically, it is incredibly even between these two. They have played 31 series against each other. It is 16-15 in favor of TY. Map score 57-57. Like, come on, you can't make that up. So maybe that means we're gonna get another 3-2. I am not expecting a 3-2 this series, though. I really feel that TY is the favorite. I think he's actually a pretty big favorite going into this. But hey, Zest keeps proving me wrong, and I would love to see him prove me wrong one more time.
That's going to have to be the case for a lot of people. Zest might be here, you know, after falling down so early in the lower bracket, but it's never been very convincing. I mean, even the matches that he's won pretty well on the score, the games themselves were a little bit shaky. So as much as I'm a Zest fangirl, like, I'm also a little bit scared because I'm also a TY fangirl. So this is actually, like, there's actually not a losing scenario for me right now. But yeah, I am a little scared for Zest, whereas I think for TY, well, he's proven that his TDP is fine. He's good.
One thing I am happy about, though, here for Zest, and that maybe makes me feel a bit more confident about Zest going into this series, is that this is obviously going to be played on the Korean server, because both players are in Korea. And I feel that Zest, when he has to play cross-server, he often doesn't really have it. But hey, now he's playing with 0 ping, the way that he's always, or well, maybe it's 5 ping, whatever it is, but it's close to 0. And this is obviously something that he should feel a lot more comfortable with, something he's incredibly familiar with. So I do think we're going to see a better Zest than we saw against Time. And well, Hero Marine, I guess he was all right, but in the first game, he still took like 1 or 2 really bad fights. I don't think that's stuff he can possibly do in this best of 5. But I really think we're going to see him play just a bit better than we saw in those series, even though he won them. And you can say that that's all that matters. I don't know. I feel like things matter more than just the final result. We'll see how it plays out in the right top side of Avid Dream looking main base. Of our Terran, it's TY.
In the bottom left, as our blue Protoss, we have Zest. And by the way, guys, you know, we have all these prediction contests and creative contests and all that. TLO still has one more thing to prove. You know, he was a bit unlucky yesterday, and by that I mean a lot unlucky. He's already gotten something good here today with the Laserverse 2. Well, he's got one more. Wardy is actually currently 4-3 on the predictions as far as being correct. And the exact prediction of TLO is that Wardy will get exactly 4 predictions correct. And he predicted TY to win. So, in order for him to be right, Zest actually has to win. TY has to lose.
Well,
very weird way.
I think he's going to be wrong then, because I really think TY is going to take it. But like I said, Zest keeps proving me wrong. And I would love to see him prove me wrong one more time, because I feel like we need a few more Protosses making deep runs in these tournaments, right? Even though Trap is definitely holding his own. This is going to be an awesome best of 5, man. I'm super excited to see these two guys duke it out. We can already see maybe a potential little mind game by TY, right? Because he's like, no, Probe will not enter my main base. I want you to be scared. And Zest is like, well, I'll scout around my Nexus, but that's about it, mate. Like, I have no plans of going to the other side of the map. And I just want to see if we see more of his Dark Shrine builds. I mean, it almost felt like a meme at one point. It's like, can you really just do this? Can you really just open Dark Shrine every game? Probably the answer so far has been yes, but I'm sure that TY has taken a quick look at some of these games that Zest played. And can you really play 3 best of 5s in a row where you make nothing but Dark Shrines? Like, I tend to say no, but who am I?
Yeah, who are you, man? You're only like 6 point something, like whatever. No, it is usually not what you can do the more you play. You can't just keep on doing the same thing against the same matchup. Change up the matchup, sure, whatever, but same matchup. And then also against TY, who I think is just going to be really on edge against those types of things. He is being tricky himself today. With the wall figure we're talking about, there's a lot of things that Zest, if he had actually scouted this, could have been panicking about. He could have said it was a 2 rocks, right, to start things off. He could have said that it was a 1-1-1 push, but it is actually a command center. But it's also a 3 racks. that Zest is practicing that pylon. And apparently, yeah, who are you, Roddy? You can DT as much as you want.
Is he really building a dark shrine again? Zest, are you gonna do me dirty like that? Yep, he's gonna. I'm sorry, I just cannot believe this. He just keeps on doing this. He's probably gonna get a gateway here as well. This is insane.
My God.
Now, how does this work out against the 3-Rex? I feel like it obviously depends a lot on like when DTs show up, when DTs make their way into the natural, are scans available or not. I think the downside of playing DT opening here is that there is a potential that TY just runs to the other side of the map, has a lot of firepower in his first team, and I think there are moments where you just can't deal with it as a Protoss player. But then again, if you keep doing this build as Zest, I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of the different responses and openings that Terrans can do, so I'm really curious to see how this plays out. This can just turn into a macro game. This can also end with the 3-Rex just dealing an insane amount of damage. This can also end with the Dark Templars just slicing away at that army and then killing SCVs, or just nothing happens, TY sits at home, and yeah, we'll just take it from there.
There's a lot of possibilities. I was laughing because Zest is so ingrained with the Reaper timings and just like the build. He did Chrono Boost the Twilight Council to fake a Reaper that wasn't anywhere close to scouting the Twilight Council. It's actually scouting the actual Dark Shrine in the nick of time as well. That's emergency mode. Is he saving a scan? This hits really quicker than almost any other DT build that usually exists. But he
Only
has one scan about ready. Oh, he can just pick up. Whoa!
He's taking this so serious. Okay, so he's just like, you know what? Scan then, scan! Oh my god, that's the Orbiter with energy. No, that's the Orbiter with energy.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's flying.
Well, though this is so, because it looked like he was going to move out, and I'm like, why would you move out against this? Just scan. Oh my god. Okay, so he pulls back. That was a little concerning. He obviously gets the command center lifted as and set down as well. And okay then. All right. But
now it's kind of good for... Okay, there's one more scan almost available. Says you don't want to lose both DTs to one scan, mate. You really don't.
He's playing with fire here.
He's going to lose both DTs to one scan.
Yeah, that was really bold of him. Because it really is a thing. Like, usually you would have 2 scans stockpiled up around 550 or 450, sorry. So if they already know, right, there's got to be another scan being held onto as well. But anyways, another DT even comes forward here. He's going to do a bit of a leapfrog with the missile turrets, which will work out fine, and he will continue doing his push.
I mean, I love this push. I feel like there's a lot of potential in this push. Now, Zest obviously is aware of the fact that that's a lot of firepower, so he wiped in a couple of defensive DTs. He's going to morph it into an Archon. I love that he's got one Dark Templar now already working on this army, and an Archon near shield batteries is good, but this is still so much firepower. All I know is that I would probably straight up die here. Let's see if Zest can just defend with his battery and his Archon.
He could have taken out that DT maybe? Oh, nope. Opportunity lost. Not sure he's got a second scan anytime soon. So the move out is still so weird because it is possible for him to just send one DT at a time. And well, that's kind of what happened here. He's actually going to follow up with Zest is going to follow up with a push of his own. He's got charge finish, he's got gateways finish, he's now got an Archon. Obviously, he loses that one DT, but if TY doesn't have a bunker,
yes and no,
really
right?
weird.
Yeah, because there's also no armor upgrades on these Protoss units.
Yeah.
Like, this is indeed so weird. But look at where these units from TY are. Like, that makes this even weirder than it already is. Like, Zest attacking here feels so YOLO. He is going to find his army. That's just great game sense. TY is going to stim, so he's going to try to trade at least a little bit. And yeah, he'll get a couple of Zealots. But it feels that the most important thing here for TY is that he buys time. Because his +1 is almost going to finish up. And Stim Bio with +1 against a 2-base Protoss attack, that's fantastic. And I think that Zest is also aware of that. And that's why Zest is now going to drop the Robobay. Like, this is just, like, it really feels not good for Zest. But yeah, Zest just keeps turning things around and keeps somehow still winning. So let's see what he can get done with the War Prism.
I do like that he sets down the Robobay in the 3rd Nexus, because I think at some point he realized he was chasing way too long. Medevac's going to be out, if not also the +1 weapons, which is the case. And his army would simply have dissolved, especially because TY, was up on the high ground as well. It's still scary to be moving out against the Zealots, but okay, a scan sees all the gas is taken again, and maybe you'll get a 3rd Nexus scan as well, but it can't be scary to move out against all those Zealots. At some point, the Terran feels confident. They the one thing they know they have is these upgrades, considering how much gas you put into what you just did. But and the War Prism's available too. Like, it's a matter of TY ever feeling confident moving out, I feel. So that's going to take a lot of advantage of him being scared.
I mean, TY feels confident that there is no blink here yet, and he is correct in that. Says you gotta be careful. Nope, Zest is not careful.
Okay.
He just runs through it. But hey, he might actually get the medevac in the end. There are a couple of probes here. TY wants to go for the natural. There's an insane amount of probes there. Blink is still not done. TY, will you get some 6 shots off? Oh, Zest doesn't fool.
I think both times now, with the Stalkers going over the Widow Mine and not pulling the probes, he was paying attention to his Warp Prism, which dropped off units in the main base.
Okay.
Bit awkwardly. I mean, it could have been worse if he had pulled last second, right? 7 probes is not the worst thing that could have happened there, but keeping his Warp Prism alive, getting the Archon on top of all these super stacked up SCVs, that's probably more important. There's a third CC, so no SCV pull. I was actually I was concerned about that, but yeah, it's such a weird game because they finally TY feels confident enough to move out, but Zest's gonna see this and have a Colossus ready to go, and yeah, continue harassing.
Okay, well, the War Prism harassment by Zest, that's one thing that he did against Hero Marine as well on Nightshade. He is damn good with it. He's going to be forced to recall now because the Prism is super low. The thing is, this army of TY, it feels more powerful because he has +1, but Zest's army is suddenly massive because he never really invested in upgrades, and this is a terrible movement here by TY as the Force Field is going to trap a lot of the bio, and it felt there was potential in the army of TY, well, suddenly there's 0 potential because he's got no units. Having upgrades is great, but if you have no units, well, then you're not going to cut it. Zest is suddenly in an amazing position.
Yeah, this was just simply never a comfortable game for TY. I mean, even with the pretty good defense against the DTs, finding them like he did, it still was never comfortable. There's always the chance that Zest was either building up on 2 bases or doing more DT drops, harassing him. I mean, the world felt like it was up to Zest to choose what to do. And now TY, having moved out and lost a chunk of his army, doesn't even have that second tank to help him out here. Is going to be on his own low ground as Zest moves in on top of this army.
No proper answer against this Colossus, right? There's one Viking, but good focus fire there by Zest. Fixed it out of the sky. The Zealots are going to town on bio units on the right side, and Zest just has too much. GG gets called. Who cares about strategy if you can execute like Zest? Dark Shrine, 7-8 games in a row. What does it even matter at this point, Jess? You just win. Like, I don't know.
You know the way that people are scared of Parting's 4-gate with the Blink Stalkers? Because it's technically this is supposed to have its weaknesses and you're supposed to be able to have a certain time where you can move out. But then Parting just makes it work, either does enough damage or has really good macro behind it. I feel like that's Zest in the Dark Shrine. If he was just doing LOL DT didn't work GG, oh, I mean, he's already out of this tournament, right? But he's making it work even when it's scouted, even when it's defended against. He's putting his opponent on the back foot.
When TY moved to the other side of the map, the first time he was a bit indecisive, right? Because the idea was I'll move out and I'll just defend at 1 base and he will have barely anything at home. And Zest's army supply at that point was 10. So I was like, yeah, that can work. But then he turned around, I was like, okay. Then he went later, I was like, this could work as well, but it felt like the DT that came in from the high ground that started picking away at a Marauder, I think that really scared TY because he's like, I only have a single scan. And that's when he didn't commit. And he's like, well, if he's still on 2 bases, I guess that's okay as well. And yeah, it was, but then the final move out, I just really did not think that he expected Zest to be where he was. I mean, the bio units were at a very awkward place in the middle of that ramp. They just got swarmed by Zealots. And suddenly you're like, oh my god, this game is pretty much over. Zest has done it again. Now he's up 1-0 against TY. And, I'd say go Dark Shrine on Zen as well. Why not? At this point, if I was Zest, I would not change up my strategy. Why would you? Why would you?
I guess not, right? It's worked out so far. We did have to talk about, but there were so many things happening. We were constantly wait, does this work out against this strategy? That the build order baseline does not include a Raven, right? There is just, if TY was ever going to feel confident against the DTs, it would probably be with a Raven and a scan, right? For the either or scenario, either with my push or with my defense. But since he went for 3 racks, it was never really going to happen. It is just because he couldn't get that, it just added to the uncomfortability that the DTs cause Terrans to have. And you're right about all the push-outs. There's times where maybe if he had really committed, it would have been fine. Or that last time, if he had not committed, he might have been fine. Eventually, his upgrades kick in. Eventually, he gets an answer to the Colossus. But instead, he pushed out at the wrong time when he had other times that might have been better. It's a very weird game.
This is where I want another Drogo meme, you know, where the one side is like, no, Zest, you can't just open Dark Shrine against Terran every game. And then Zest is like, haha, Gateway Printer goes brrr. Like, that's really what this is starting to feel like. Obviously, in Katowice, Zest had a lot of success with his Resonating Glaive build over and over and over again. But I think that's a bit different. Because that is a build, you know, where it comes down to execution and you can see the execution of Zest really shine. I never felt there was like that much potential with a Dark Shrine opener, right? Like it always felt a little hit or miss, and it felt like you need to get lucky with the certain response. But it seems like as long as you give Zest a War Prism to go along with it, it's like, no, this is now also a build of execution. And I mean, if there's one thing that this man is good at, it's obviously executing things with very few units on the right top side of Zen. He's up 1-0 now. It is Zest.
In the bottom left, and there's the red Terran. We do have TY. I laughed because I had alt-tabbed accidentally into Twitter instead of the game, and Fear Dragon had just posted a Pikachu surprise face meme with Zest's open CTs and wins Rotterdam surprise Pikachu face.
I can get behind that. You know what's funny as well is like we mentioned it, you know, we touched on it briefly, but we didn't really go into detail. Is that TY did try to pull off mind games, right, in the previous game. This was not a standard Reaper fast expand game. Like, no, he went with that early depot to prevent the probe from coming into his main base. He built the command center on the high ground all the way next to his main, so it wouldn't even get scouted if a probe would pick up that ramp. So TY was pulling off all sorts of mind games. And Zest is like, haha, I'm not even scouting. Like, good luck with all of that. So TY was definitely dealing some, you know, indirect damage to his own economy by playing the way he did, and Zest just not even scouting. I don't know. I'm really starting to get amused by the way that Zest is playing in this tournament. But no matter what you think of it, the execution, and you give him a prism and a couple of units, has been really, really good.
Yeah. It's very good that you brought up that beginning of the game, because, yeah, Zest was just like, I'll just scout for a proxy, and then, you know, whatever. Which, I mean, he does in PvP as well, right? It's like, well, the pylon's either a fake or it isn't anyways. Like, let's just look around for that. But in this case, whether Zest was going to scout or not, like, TI was looking to take advantage of the setup of last game. Again, not that it was scouted. And actually go for 2 racks this time, which still is unscouted. All the mind games aside, this has gone unscouted. This is what could have happened last game, because Zest wasn't pulling his probe to the side of the map, but he is scouting for a proxy. I'm actually just checking the probe, make sure he's not putting down his own pylon. He is not. And the Reapers get to do, hopefully, some damage, or at least keep him from probing up that much.
Hey, yes, there's a Twilight Council going down in the main base of Zest. I actually think this is a really good map with the way that Zest opened as well, to maybe just play Blink Stalker, you know, into charge, into a forge. Like, I would really not be upset, especially not with the way that TY is opening here. I feel like it would be cool. On the other end, I'm like, this is a really stupid prediction because we're casting a Zest game. And guess what? There's a pylon going up on the left top side of the map. And I've got a feeling, as we have this little dance between the Adept and the Reapers, that Zest might just plant down another Dark Shrine.
Apparently. I tried to see if the probe had like a stopping point on its rally, but it didn't. He was just looking, I guess, for his own, again, the own proxy of the TY. He knows it's the 3 Reapers, so it's a little bit concerning. This might offset his build a tiny bit, as he has to deal with the Reapers. But yeah, he's still going to do the Dark Shrine.
Says, you're such a meme. I love it. All right, Reaper's going to hop in, and he barely has any units. So this is obviously a bit problematic here for SS, as he ends up losing 2 SCVs. Oh my goodness. This is next level. It took 10 years of StarCraft to get to the point where Zest just builds a Dark Shrine every game. This Stalker is low on HP, can the battery save it? The answer is yes. I am speechless.
Well, what really sucks about this is that if the Reapers are trying to go for the damage on the Nexus and the Natural, they might not be scouting the main. If they scouted the main, they'd see a couple things missing, but they are still going for damage in the Natural. Is Zest also going to fall into the same trap of, is TY going to fall into the same trap as, you wouldn't do that again. Right? You wouldn't do that again, because it kind of feels like it is, and he has no way of getting a main scout. He did not scout the pylon despite getting close to where the probe was. Oh, why is this happening? Well, he's definitely going to save scans, right? Like,
and that's a very quick eBay, by the way, as well. That's
yeah.
a 420 eBay. Come on, Reapers, hop up the high ground. That's what you think if you're on Team TY. He is moving out, though, and I feel like that's the kind of stuff that actually makes Zest happy. Because obviously that means less units at home. That means you can only scan, like, you're not going to scan offensively and defensively, right, normally. I mean, TY, it feels like his army once again can pack a decent punch. It's not as insane as before, but here come the Dark Templars into the natural. There's no turret. Can he raise the depots? He cannot raise the depots. Are you kidding me? What is happening?
He's going to have a scan available, and a second one pretty close after that. And his units do jump on top of the Stalkers. The shield battery is running low on energy, but more DTs are being warped in, and well, more damage is being done to TY than to Zest currently on the economy. TY has actually done this build every single time he's been on Zen. I just want to mention, and Zest actually might have been able to know that and predict that as he hits at a crucial timing once again. It works out better for Zest's build compared to what TY wanted to do here.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, obviously Zest was a bit busy in defending with the push against TY, so a single scan actually managed to take out all 3 Dark Templars. Like, I think it's safe to say that is something we shouldn't see. Oh, I'm not even sure if he gets this Dark Templar. That's kind of close. Yeah, he does get it in the end as he's trying to get up a turret there. But look at the worker count. Zest is up 18 workers. 18!
That's insane. Not going to be recovered too easily. And we're not talking about a super sizable Terran army either. I mean, it's still working on the medevacs. It still doesn't have a third add-on to the barracks. So every scan hurts his potential for a comeback. And Zest is getting to blink in a robo.
Yeah, TY did this the exact same opening against Hearthstone on this map and also against Showtime. Is that correct? Is that the game?
Yeah, every time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also the game that Hearthstone did win against TY, where he also just walked up this little ramp in front of the natural and he got force fielded out. Okay, so what about TY just next game opens up and he just stays at home instead of moving out against ETs? What if he just stays at home and he just gets a good old stim opening, maybe, you know, with a quick turret? Like, would that be crazy talk, or is that something you could get behind?
I'm definitely behind that one because I don't see a downside to it, really. I mean, even if Zest goes, oh, okay, and like actually does a macro build himself, I'm still fairly confident in TY's macro game in a regular PvT game, so I would like that to happen as well. TY trying to go for a Widowmine drop. It would have also scouted the tech here with the later third Nexus. I think it would have figured out that it would run a Colossus again, but it kind of gets denied just by being scouted.
Well, Zest is now working on Blink as that's pretty much finishing up. He's getting +1 as well. You know what I also think is funny, by the way? I mean, sorry, I just can't get over it. That at this point, Zest is still proxying the Dark Shrine every game. It really feels that, you know, does that even matter? Like, can't he just build it at home?
Yeah, right? I mean, especially with the way that he had built up here, I guess. There's some maps where you can actually really successfully block out Reapers. But, I'm with you. I think TY's going to have to do like the PvP thing and start sending out 2 SCVs to scout every which way, plus your Reaper. Because Zest he's playing pretty dirty. He's got a Warp Prism headed into the main base where Missile Turret is available.
As well, Adepts and DTs. That is a naughty combo against Workers, but fortunately for TY, he does have a few bio units to deal with this. I like that TY is expanding on location. Can he snipe the Prism? No, Zest is too good for that. I do like how good Zest is with Warp Prisms. That is honestly one thing I feel like he has been getting so much value out of in this tournament. And I know it's safe to say that, like, oh yeah, we expect... Oh, come on. Okay. Well, he loses the Prism. That was probably not worth it, though.
Probably not. I can see where he thought that would work. The amount of Marines was not very high. And if he didn't stim as fast as he did, maybe it also works. But, nope, that was not worth it. Now TY no longer has to worry about the attack on his side of the base. He can focus entirely, not just on this Widowmine drop, but also potential push. Okay, and maybe find the Dark Shrine. Just like throwing it out there.
I really want... Yeah, that would be nice, so he doesn't have to worry about Arcos. I want to see a Widowmine on the high ground there of Zest is natural. Because Zest doesn't see everything. He sees most of it, but I don't think he sees everything. And obviously, Mines can get some good hit stuff from the high ground. I mean, this game, despite the fact that Zest was in a really good spot, is not over yet. TY does have a 3-base economy almost at this point. There's still Dark Templars being annoying, by the way. Zest just doesn't stop, man. He is relentless with DPs.
Yeah, Widowmine drop at the same time as him paying attention to the army. And they are going to get some pretty juicy shots. There we go. 13 probes go down to the natural. And Zest, I mean, it happened last time, too, where he was a little distracted and he lost units more than he should. Yeah. TY is getting advantages there.
Okay. Do you remember when I was like, Zest is 18 workers ahead? 18! And now Zest is 15 workers behind. 15. Like I've seen, obviously there's a lot of StarCraft fans that I also follow, and I see that tweet. Somebody made a tweet a couple of weeks ago. It's like a drinking game. I think it was Vindicta actually who tweeted this. Like drinking game. Take a shot every minute. Zest doesn't build workers. Well, if you were playing that game, that drinking game, watching this game, you'd be drunk at this point. Okay, you'd be super drunk. Because I cannot believe that Zest, like I know he just lost 13, and he shouldn't be that far behind economically, even by losing 13 probes.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a little bit, I guess, of the build order, but I'm with you on it's just like he wasn't producing probes and obviously just lost a few. He did choose to go for more of a 2-base conserve style, maybe afraid of what TY could use his army for. He did go for an upgrade this time as well, unlike last game, where he went for a bit faster in the third, I think. And, yeah, I mean, it's maybe he could have been in a better position had he taken that risk, but I guess he wasn't willing to. TY, meanwhile, took really no more damage past that. And obviously denied. The War Prism was really, really nice. And now he's going up to a 4th CC. So we are going full TY here, with tanks also being his focus for that factory.
Will finally find the Dark Shrine. That's also researching Shadow Strike, by the way.
Nice.
Man.
That's
okay,
really nice.
Jess, make a prediction quickly. Is he going to rebuild the Dark Shrine? Oh my god, he already did it! He already did it, Jess! You are so ridiculous. You are so ridiculous.
I went on the record. I would have said yes even before that slapdown, but that is pretty ridiculous. Like, if we're gonna head into a late game, hey, GT Blink is very helpful, not just for harassment, but for killing those planetaries, which might actually happen in this game, despite its very funny start.
Man, I want to find somebody who loves me like Zest loves his Dark Shrines. Like, I genuinely believe that I would.
You know what? This actually makes a lot of sense, right? Because Zest actually, like, as good as he's been, and I don't call him one-dimensional, like as in like an insult. There definitely have been a lot of times where Zest was just this guy, that guy, an Archon drop guy in PvZ. He was clinging on to that past the point everyone had given up on it. He was on top of, Blink for the longest time, even before and after people kind of like adapted to it. And now I guess his thing is a Dark Shrine. That's his thing now.
And can we also talk about the fact that Zest is playing pure attack upgrades? Like, I know you can say like he's going for a Colossus Stalker composition, so it's never going to be super tanky, and he just wants to deal a lot of damage while having some kiting and micro potential. But that is kind of insane. Like, it really feels like he's working with a paper army. He just wiped in 6 Dark Templars in the left top side of the map. He's like, TY will never see it coming. He killed the Dark Shrine. It's like, come on, Zest. And he's just waiting for Shadow Strike at this point.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm losing it. I cannot do this. I'm too old for this.
This was fine back when, like, what was it? Oh, what was the famous? It was Todd and Kalaris, right? When they were watching Haas. Like,
yeah.
It was fine back then, but Roddy can't take this anymore. This is going to be a potential blitz on top of the planetary with all the DTs he's warping in. That could just go down in the blink of an eye, despite having a missile turret. Liberators see where the army is, so TY is going to try and attack up the left side. This is actually exactly how he plays Zen. Apparently he just likes doing this on this map.
This is gonna get wild. I mean, TY's army feels so much more powerful than Zest's army, but Zest is expanding everywhere. He's going up to 5 bases. He does have all those DTs on the left top side as well, but Zest's army is made out of paper. Like I said, he has no armor upgrades, no shield upgrades. All right, Zest, it's time for the Dark Templars to shine. Shadow Strike is done. Go get that planetary on the left side, my friend.
That's absolutely what he's going to do. He could even bring them back to try and help out against the tanks. I cannot. That was a giggle right there. He is going to grab. He actually didn't even blink. He's blinking them defensively to save their lives. Grabs the planetary, grabs the SCVs, and can continue because that is so many DTs. I don't know if TY's reinforcements can handle it. The TY is causing a lot of damage in the main base of Zest.
TY needs to scan actually though in the main. Like, that's a lot of Dark Templars. TY, please pay attention. Okay, he's like, you know what? Okay, if he loses this Dark Shrine, does he build another one?
When things calm down, yes. I'm not sure he does it immediately. But if things ever do calm down, he still has that bottom right base to work on. The DT top of the tanks!
Look at the flank! Oh my god, Spear Dragon was right all along. The tanks are gonna go down. I mean, obviously he loses an insane amount of DTs, but he's got more DTs coming in from the right side. Zest actually defends this without having a single armor upgrade. What the hell am I watching? Is this still StarCraft 2? I mean, he does lose a Colossus there. What is this?
The Archons even end up forming here. They're going to really push that attack off. TY did actually save his economy on 3 bases at the very least. Obviously, the DTs came back. But does he have enough reinforcements? He has to consistently scan. He doesn't have EMPs anymore to reveal it instead. And his tank count has been reset. And by the way, like, we saw it happen before we really talked about it, but DT Blink, as effective as charge lots, really, on top of tanks, even more effective in some situations.
Well, TY on sieges and Zest goes for the forward blink. He gets 2 tanks immediately, almost gets the last one, finally does get it. But now more units come in. I want to point out that Zest has 1,500 minerals in the bank, 1,200 gas while taking that fight, and he is rebuilding the Dark Shrine again, and he somehow wins it. Who needs armor upgrades? Who needs to spend his money? Zest with almost 3k resources in the bank. It feels like at this point, if Zest doesn't have a Dark Shrine, he's just like, what do I even build? Like, what do I spend this money on? Oh my. Oh.
That seems to be what's holding him back, because he had 13 gateways. He's going up to 15. Like, he just was missing his Dark Shrine buddy. That worked out pretty well. But TY did end up getting a pretty good convincing concave, and his upgrades, I think, started to kick in as well for that one last battle. So we're back to an even overall supply. Upgrades are going to be favoring TY quite a bit in about 30 seconds here. And, well, TY does have his 4th base back up as well.
I mean, if Zest spends his money, he's actually winning this game.
Yes,
if you tell me that he's winning this game with 15 gate, no armor, triple Dark Shrine, I'd be laughing. I was like, nah, that's not a thing. Now he actually has multiple robos as well. He's going to be back to double robo.
Oh my god.
How is he doing this? I am. All right, he just warped in. Like, he warped in 12 Dark Templars on the left top side. Can we take a look at the left top side real quick, my friend observer?
Oh my god.
He's like, Dark Shrine number 3 finished up. Here we go again. Shadow Strike on the planetary. Gets the planetary. Says, you are an absolute maniac.
This is working out so well against TY though as well. Like I do think that Zest is just kind of being like some crazy magician right now. But I also think that it's working out well against TY's style. You know, he blinks on top of the planetary, instantly bopped, even if it has building armor. The tank style that was really confusing some of other TY's opponents, you catch out of position, you bop it with the DT blink. Like, this is crazy how well Zest is making this work.
I actually think he's going to win. If he just spends his money a little bit, he's going to warp in a couple of Zealots. I'm still sad those are not Dark Templars, by the way. He's waiting for the Shadow Strike on the left top side. Zest has no armor upgrades, but he doesn't care. TY has a medevac full of units, by the way. Zest with the forward blink, and he is just obliterating this Terran army. I cannot believe it. 15 gate, triple Dark Shrine, no armor upgrades. Zest does not care.
He's just all-out attack, man. That's all he's been doing. Vicious indeed. Zest takes a 2-0 lead over TY, playing the styles with DTs you just don't see. I mean, it's one thing to continue building DTs off 2 base, you know, going for the Dark Shrine proxy, the cheese. But it's another to actually make it look like that was the best plan that you can have against TY. That he made that look like it was just the plan all along, when I'm guessing it wasn't. But maybe it was. I don't know. I feel like I'm close to giving Zest too much, like too much of my confidence, but it's working, man. So whether it was a plan or not, he's making it look amazing.
I'm actually out of words. Like, I cannot believe. You know what's so sick as well? Like, obviously so many fights happen in this game, so it's hard to, you know, pinpoint exactly which fight it was. But after, like, TY kind of got cleaned up and he had that super sick position on the side of Zest's main, and obviously Zest bringing back all the Dark Templars, that was fantastic. That was really cool to see. There was this little fight near the rich Vespian geyser on the left top side of the map. And basically I was like, Zest, you've got like almost 2k resources in your bank and you have no armor upgrades. There's no way you should run into these tanks right now. And he didn't. But then the moment TY just unsieges all 3 tanks, here's Zest, and he blinks forward, and he's got more DTs, and he gets another convincing fight. And obviously during all of this, like, Zest may not always build probes, but one thing he does do very well is take bases, right? And it felt like this was not the kind of game where can Zest really be on 5 bases when he doesn't even have a single armor upgrade, and it feels like he's got no real tech. Yeah, he's got 15 gates and Shadow Strike. I cannot. This is actually an insane game. I truly wonder what European, like, Protoss pro gamers feel when they look at this gameplay. They'll be like, if I do this can never work. But yeah, maybe you just need to be Zest to pull this off. And I think that Fear Dragon right now is probably jumping up and down in his seat. I mean, he's been campaigning for the Blink DTs for years. And maybe Zest has been watching some of Fear Dragon, his videos. And he's like, you know what? If you love Shadow Strike that much, Ravi, I'll give you some Shadow Strike, and I'll be literally one of the greatest Terrans of all time with it. Insane.
Mm-hmm. He is making it look like it's the kryptonite for TY, but I love it. It is actually such a good idea if we zoom out a bit and just the fact that Zest has done this every single series, but zoom out a little bit and just look at the idea. It's so cool. The expansions also are kind of not necessarily a freebie, but TY doesn't really do a whole lot of dropping, right? It's not multi-pronged pressure. He's building up a tank count to do one fatal attack that's supposed to confuse and bewilder a regular TVP or a regular Protoss. And instead, he's taking the bases, getting away with those, and then going for DTs that can literally, they don't just concave on the tanks, they literally jump on top of them. And they also get oftentimes surprise attacks. Like we talk about the Hawkeye, eagle vision of a Terran, usually a programmer Terran, and they seeing observers everywhere. But there were times where I could have sworn TY was going to be able to say, oh, there's 7 DTs. He's about to attack me. Let's pack it up and go home. And then he didn't. He just lets the engagement happen where he gets blinked on and goes, surprise Pikachu face, I guess. So this has been really cool from Zest. I'm glad it's not just it's not just cheese either. This has been some really good macro play, and now we're heading into game 3 on Nightshade.
Really good macro play and a lot of craziness. On one end, I'm on board. Okay, I'm starting to become a believer, but then there's still that little voice in my head that's he is basically setting himself up for a position where these kind of crazy things need to happen. Because if a Terran just sits at home and macros and builds up an army, the Terran army is supposed to be so much stronger than the Protoss army. And you can't say no, Terran needs to move out because Zest's economy is too sick. Zest's economy is never too sick. He doesn't even build that many probes. So it really feels that the Terran army is supposed to be more powerful. But I don't know how he does it. He's up 2-0 right now against TY. And I'm starting to become a believer. Finally, I am all on board at the Dark Templar hype train. It's Zest.
In the top left, as the Red Terran, we do have TY. You gotta expect a DT this time, right? You're not twice in a row, but if it's twice in a row, it might as well be 3 in a row, right?
I mean, if a man builds 3 Dark Shrines in one game, I will never predict him not to go Dark Shrine in game 3. And obviously at this point, you can't even blame him, of course. He beat Time. Time is a really damn good Terran player. Even though Time is a little hit or miss, right? He's not always in shape and stuff like that. And Zest didn't look fantastic in those games, but got the job done. I was okay, is he going to switch it up against Hero Marine? He's nah, Dark Shrine Printer goes brrr. I was okay, it worked. Zest is a god with a War Prism and a couple of DTs, and he's great at creating chaos. But against TY, there's no way, right? Well, apparently, if there is a will, there's always a way for this man and his Dark Templars. I can't believe he's at match point now, Jess.
No, the way he's done it, the actual thing that's happening right now, Zest 2 over TY. After Zest has been looking amazing, I'm also in a bit of disbelief. One thing we haven't really mentioned, I keep needing to, and then we just get there's so many things to talk about, right? Is that Widow Mines are generally considered the better answer. There's always a bit of that, well, they could just flash you back, with the blink on. But Widow Mines are generally the better answer. The tanks don't do well. They can't multitask. They can't shoot within a certain range. TY is at a point where he absolutely has to accommodate not just for Zest's opener, but also for the actual macro game that Zest is showing us. I don't think TY thought he would be in that position where the other guy is in the driver's seat.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't even... Whoa!
Hold on here. Hold on.
I'm confused at this point. What are we talking about? Is he doing an Archon drop in PvT? Is the Dark Shrine coming after this? No, Zest is actually going to switch it up. Obviously, guys, all jokes aside, it's insane gameplay that Zest is showing us. But this is, of course, a really good map to potentially go for some War Prism aggression, right? I've seen guys like Skillers and Mana go for this opening. With Blink Stalkers and a Prism, Nightshade is fantastic. But you don't always need to have Blink. You can also just go for Gateway aggression and a War Prism. And once again, we know what Zest is capable of with just a Prism and a couple Gateway units.
Yeah. Yeah, Drogo is really emphasizing this map is great for that blink play. So we might just have him kind of abuse the map here for potentially the final game, which would be such a surprise. This is the lower bracket, guys, so we're talking about TY out of the out of the tournament.
Now, obviously, if it's like 4-gate blink, like TY is very familiar with that. He's obviously played against Sparting, right, in the GSL, but this is not 4-gate blink. This is just 4-gate robo, and it hits a lot quicker than 4-gate blink. A Raven is not going to be super useful. I'm actually really starting to like where this is going for Zest. TY obviously had enough of Dark Shides, so he's like, I'm going to open Raven. And Zest is like, got him right where I wanted. The depth and res here is already very good. Oh my god, Zest is just going to win this entire tournament, and GSO and Katowice, isn't he? This is never stopping. We're all living in Zest's world at this point.
It's so funny, though, because, you know, Zest really looked like so good in PvZ in Katowice. It seemed like he had this magical answer that, it was a full wall-off, too. Oh my god. That, you know, Sterile couldn't even defeat. Well, eventually someone did figure him out, to be fair. But yeah, right now we're in that phase where Zest is showing us the way and is doing a fantastic job of beating the best, arguably the best Terran in the world right now, right?
Look at TY. He's even supply blocked. He's falling apart. He's like, what is happening? What is Zest doing? Well, Zest has a Warp Prism. He didn't actually make a lot of additional units, by the way, right? Did he just forget?
Drop? Wait.
No, but did he just forget his prism? It almost feels like he forgot his prism.
Yeah.
I know
I know he does a Colossus drop, which is why I went to it, but it's way too late for it to be that build that I'm thinking of. Like, no, he absolutely wanted to do the 4-gate attack first. So I'm with you. I think I forgot his Warp Prism. That's such a weird thing to say, though.
Yeah.
I forgot the one critical thing about my build.
It's like I tried to warp in, I had no prism. And he's like, well, I can still try, right? I'm obviously expecting Warp Prism speed here, but I don't know if it's like for Colossus, he's getting a Twilight and a Forge now. I do think Warp Prism speed would maybe make sense if he then also goes for a Disruptor after that. No, it's just a Colossus, okay. All right, well, let's see. Like, this could have been so much quicker, by the way. Like, that robo has been done forever. It was a really early robo. Imagine how much quicker. Okay, now he goes Warp Prism speed as well. You know what? It doesn't even matter, okay? Whatever happens in this game, Jess, it doesn't matter. The final result is inevitable. Zest wins.
It's inevitable. He is Thanos. This is really nice, just as far as like a regular build goes, to be able to apply some pressure and keep tabs on the Terran. They'll always have to worry about this Warp Prism. Even if they feel protected now, you know, they won't be feeling very confident about moving out. And when it has speed, then it also is just more unnerving for the Terran as the Protoss continues to get Blink and +1 and really build up the Colossus count. We have a nice, slow, fairly normal PvT.
Well, fairly normal. Then you take a look at the natural Zest, okay? Can we really describe this as fairly normal when Zest is sitting at 1,000 resources, has no probe out on the map to build a Nexus, so he's sitting here killing his own gateway. Oh, nothing is normal about this man. Nothing.
Yeah, it's Colossus fast speed drop. It's not normal, but I'm considering it more normal than a Dark Shrine stuff. He has done this on this map before, but it's definitely not the build that I've seen him do. Because you're right. Like, either it was the 4-gate attack that was faster, or it's the Colossus drop that's faster. And instead, we have this like later everything. Yeah. So I do think that he had to kind of change his plans, but he's going to go with the Colossus drop. This is really dangerous to do against someone with a Raven. Interference Matrix on the Warp Prism as it darts in, because you don't see the Raven, for instance. Like, suddenly the Colossus is left alone. And,
look at this. This is working out fantastically. Vikings are going to show up as well, but this is a Speed Prism. Speed Prisms are so fast. It's pretty good, man. He got a bunch of Marines. He gets a bunch of SCVs. Zest is going to warp in a couple of Stalkers at home. He does finally go up to 3 bases. He's going to build a couple defensive shield batteries. I mean, the Raven is obviously the scariest part here, right? Because without the Colossus, the Zest's army is absolute garbage. Like, there's just nothing else to say. But obviously, Zest being Zest means he's probably going to kill the Raven. No, that's not going to happen yet. I do like how he's moving forward, buying some time for himself. I don't know, man. I feel like any pros would be in trouble here, but probably not Zest. Time goes by as well, so Zest can actually spend the money that he was banking. Blink is close to finishing up, and TY is like, maybe I should get out of here.
Yeah, he scanned ahead. He knew that he was already delayed because he had to siege up once, and Zest was absolutely prepared. 3rd Colossus, bunch of shield batteries. He's going to go back in the defensive. He's a little bit worried. He saw way too many big old Colossus to really handle with the limited Vikings that he had. I'm not even sure where they went to, but this is one of those scary moments where just the superior technology of the Protoss can kind of make you fearful, but you kind of know that you have enough units, and there's the Raven, of course, that you aren't going to die. but the command center, it doesn't want to be delayed. Zest also doesn't want to overstay his welcome. He wants to just buy time for the Warp Prism to get in the main base.
And he wants to buy time for his Dark Shrine, Jess.
Of course it's a Dark Shrine. Well, okay, hold on.
Oh, 3 HP.
Jeez.
You know what? Some players, I would say, lucky. In this case, calculated, okay? Zest can do quick maths all day long. Oh, look at these Marines. The Marines are on a mission.
They're hero Marines. Nah, they're not going to find it. Yeah, guys. Go all
You know
the way
what? Even
around
if they
the
do
corner.
find it, Zest will drop it. When the Prism has 3 HP, and he's going to kill the Marine. Boom.
That's the thing.
Zest is a god. Okay, I feel like we are witnessing the greatest thing that StarCraft has ever produced right in front of our eyes.
Oh, man. So the other thing about the Dark Shrine, though, right? Like, I don't like that TY is continuing to play with these tanks, man. Like, the Dark Shrine is just, in a very weird way, is a nice response in a macro game. Not because of its harassment potential, but for what I'm fearful of the Shadow Strike. Like, it's a good response.
Yeah, but okay, let's just say though, like we've all seen TY against Sparting, right? On Nightshade. If he just plays it out like that, I actually think like he seems really good in those kind of games. There's Shadow Strike immediately, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I can't blame TY for just sitting back at this point, getting a Stanza Tower and just being like, you know what? I'm not moving out anymore. Like I'm done. I'm done with the weird fights. I'm done with the weird engagements. I'm done with the DTs blowing up my bases. I'm just gonna turtle. I'm gonna do the same thing as I did in the GSL and turtle. And I would love to see what Zest's approach is going to be, because I don't know if Zest is the kind of guy to start building like carriers or something, right? Or Tempest. Like I feel like he's just gonna run head first into TY over and over and over again.
I think he is, but it might actually be the right call. He's going up to 5 bases. He realized maybe like, hey, you're doing that thing. You're playing Super Turtle, you're TY. And then he's also getting Shadow Strike, which I think he's going to use as a just like part of his army. Like, I don't know if it'll work. I'm not saying this is actually prophecy, but if TY pushes... Oh, he's an SCV pull, actually. This might be a surprise to Zest. I don't think he gets that 5th Nexus if he knows this is happening, so...
That's actually sick, right? Because it felt like the Stanza Tower normally is like, oh, I'm going to play late game, and suddenly like, just kidding, I'm not. I mean, the army of TY is massive. Zest has 0 splash damage, by the way. There is still a Raven. Oh, I feel like TY shouldn't chase his army. He should just go. I know it's crazy and scary, but, you know, they say never base rated Terran. There are DTs, by the way, showing up at this point, and I wonder if this is really going to scare TY. TY needs to stabilize at least 2 orbital commands. That is exactly what he's doing. He's got the Raven, but he's turning around. I feel like you can turn around. You gotta go, right? You just gotta go.
I agreed. Like, this is go time, man. Like, you've already admitted that you're gonna not have SCVs mining, so flip that 3rd, plant it, because you still want the scan in case that Raven gets taken out, but you have to go. The 4th base is gonna go down. No probes are even there. He actually put his probes on the 5th base, which is going to be mining this entire time as he tries to get a better angle on TY's army.
Yeah, and I love TY's also getting a missile turret there, by the way. I think that's super smart. I'd love to see him build multiple turrets. Don't forget, this is once again no armor Zest. So Zest is going to end up losing a lot of probes in a straight-up fight. I really just think, once again, this Protoss army is garbage. But, and I know they always say, don't base trade at Terrans. Well, you know, Zest can do anything at this point. That means that now, by the way, there's only 1 orbital command landed, but TY is going to build more missile turrets. Zest has gateways everywhere. He's probably going to build a whole bunch of other gateways on the right top side. Don't think that +3 is ever going to finish up for Zest. Oh my goodness, what a series. What a meme. I love it.
This is so crazy. I thought that Zest was going to try and plant down another Dark Shrine, realizing that would be targeted, which by the way, +3 is also targeted, but no chance at a Dark Shrine. 7x4 is gone. He has the gateways. He can still work in charge lots, which is fine, which is great, but not if you supply block. They both have supply block. They both are down to some of their last buildings as TY was fairly late to lifting, and that top left, I'm not sure, is actually perfectly hidden from Stalkers attacking it. It is full-on base race mode, where usually even a handful of DTs can really work, but that Raven is still alive and very well protected.
Yeah, that's actually, that's not a safe spot for an orbital? Like, I know there is safe spots on this map. On the south side, oh my god.
Okay, there we go.
Oh my goodness, Stalks can attack it. There is a spot on the bottom side, for instance, of TY's natural, where he has the turret. You can actually put an orbital there, and then it cannot get hit. Like, there is actually a safe space. Definitely barracks as well, but TY, what did he say?
I say TY loses. Like, I'm actually looking at this and like, how does TY survive with 3 buildings? One of which is dying.
He's got missile turret. He does have money, but the biggest problem is that he doesn't have enough money to rebuild a command center. So saving the command center in the left top side, or the orbital command, I think is key. He really needs to save it, and I'm surprised that Zest didn't try to kill it with more Stalkers.
Yeah, maximum 3 could even attack it. Oh, the move through the army. He wasn't anticipating finding the army like he did. DTs are available. The Ravens here as well. The Blink on top of the tanks might be able to take them down. Auto turret's going to actually help out a ton here, but DTs really wrecking face. Even though they were scouted, they still do so much damage. Has brought down TY's army to maybe a manageable size, but Zest also
look
down
at
an
Zest's,
army.
yeah, but look at Zest's money. Zest is actually, his army is going to grow again, right? He just needs those gateways to finish up. He's going to build a lot of cannons on the right side. Obviously, there are tanks, but I feel like all that Zest needs right now is like 5 more Zealots. If Zest gets 5 more Zealots, this game is over. And he recalls the probes. By the way, Zest is sick. He had all of his probes over here on the left side, but he knew that TY was going for that base, so he recalled everything to the right side. TY has an SCV that's going to scout that now at this point. Wow, did that Stalker just kill the Orbiter? It did.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was going to point out. It actually killed the command center. I don't know if he was ever planning on going back to save it, actually.
Okay.
It really looked like he did, but...
I do love the
now
landed Vikings, right? Like, that's insane. Landed Vikings are very good at the ground. It all comes down to the cannons, but obviously we do have tanks. This is such an insane game. Like, I think TY can win, actually, because Zest still cannot spend his money. He's got 1 gate. He's chrono boosting it. What?
He can find his buildings, though. You can see there's 4 buildings left. He actually just moves over to find the buildings. TY
Yeah, but TY can rebuild.
Those.
No, but he can rebuild. He has got 16 SCVs with his army.
He can. I hope he thinks of it. I hope he's building as he realizes what Zest's plan is.
TY, please build something. TY, please build something. You need to build something.
Please,
if you lose
his refinery.
Oh
please,
my god,
anything,
that's it.
Anything.
Build something, TY. You've got 250 million. Yeah, he built something, right? He has 250
he
million.
built a
Where?
Okay.
Where?
All right.
Ooh.
Jesus.
Oh, look at the Prism. The Prism is going to try to maybe snipe it. No, he's going to go for tanks instead. There is a Viking. There's an interference matrix, but that's not going to shut it down. This depot is all that TY has at this point.
Zest still has a Nexus. I mean, he has enough minerals to build 2 more as well, but he saved this left Nexus. That is the last structure. I mean, TY can build a couple of refineries and hold on, but it's going to be, one whack-a-mole is better than the other. Zest whack-a-mole is better than TY's.
Well, but Zest could run out of money too. I think this could maybe turn into a draw eventually. Oh my goodness, build something! Oh my god, that's so close! That is so close, he just built the depot there. Oh, that was so incredibly close. I mean, TY needs to kill indeed 2 bases, but Zest is now mining off the one on the left side. No, I think you're right, man. Like, I just don't think TY can kill everything quick enough. Zest is going to repower gateways in his main base as well. Zest is a god. He's a god. I'm done. He's going to win GSL. He's going to win Katowice. We're done. He's winning the next GSL too.
He's winning every tournament he ever participates in from here on out. Yeah. Oh my god, I can't believe this went down this way. Actually, Zest knows that's one of the last buildings, but I guess he's figuring TY has more minerals than he anticipated, so he's not even going after it.
He's going to recall the probes again. Oh, the Nexus isn't done yet. The Nexus isn't done yet. TY should stim, by the way.
Yeah, that's like all of Zest's probes. He does have some transferring.
TY needs to build a building. He's losing the depot. Okay, he's building a new depot. Jeez. But that's it. From now on, no more depots.
Yeah, so, not even a refinery.
So now he needs to choose, right? Do you split up your army, or do you protect your... Like, by protecting the depot, Zest will eventually rebuild. So that is not an option. Like, he needs to kill. He's going to try to kill, do economic damage. But Zest can also maybe just YOLO on the depot, right? It can get repaired, though.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, until you run out of minerals. That's so funny. If he had built a barracks instead and protected the barracks, he could have been floating it with his army. Yep. And that's one of the ways. That's a maybe. Well, how do you think of that in this type of game, right?
Oh, I think you make a very valid point there. TY scouting with his medevac. He sees that Zest is building another Nexus. There are 2 Immortals in a Prism just trying to pick off units. Zest is Stalkers, by the way, in range of the tanks in the left bottom side, but he saved all of his units. I mean, Zest is mining up the top side, and TY doesn't know. TY thinks that the Nexus that's in the natural right now, that's the Nexus he needs to kill to maybe force a draw or even win this game. But that's not the Nexus, TY. The real Nexus is at 12 o'clock, and he's got no idea.
More units are going to be made here. Immortal juggling working out just to take out the army in general. The Vikings are going to land to try and take one last fight. But TY, at the end of the day, he has 1 supply depot to protect here. That's it. He's dancing around with his units. He knows it's game over. Zest with the 3-0 over TY. 2 Dark Shrines into a base race. This was amazing. It's the best 3-0 I've seen. ever.
Yes, yes. Okay, we got a 3-0, but this did not feel like a 3-0 in any universe. All right, just think everyone can say it. The chat can say it. Zest is best.
We stand as one.